Hello, everyone. It's Kim from K&RP here in southeastern Manitoba. The day started off beautifully sunny. It has now clouded over. It is currently 21 degrees Celsius, which means it's 69 degrees Fahrenheit. One weather station says we're going to get rain. One weather station says it's just going to be cloudy. It's going to be what it's going to be. These guys are all liars. I don't believe a single word they say. All I know is that the temperature is right and it is currently cloudy. So today, Jean is here with me. Hey, Jean! Yay! We're together again. And we're going to do
We're here.
We are. Come to haunt you.
It's already 91 degrees here.
Bah humbug. I mean, I was outside at 7:30 this morning putting in my pepper plants. I still don't have my garden in. So I worked the bed and put the pepper plants in, put the tomato cages on, and my hand was already giving me gip because our soil is clay and it's really hard and heavy. Hey, Miss Sally K, nice to see you. Really heavy, and my hand was starting to hurt, so I kind of quit so that I could play here today. We're doing bead embroidery. And so basically, I got a little bit of yard work done, washed some dishes, and we're here. We're here. Jean, do you have your last project handy so that you could show people what you are up to and I can show people what I am up to? I'm going to make you big, okay? Jean?
I don't have it right here. I have one of them. I don't have the. I have two of them.
Okay, you're big.
So,
You're big. No, I'm big. Wait, who's who? There you go. It's a day, guys. It's a day.
so this is my first one. It's done. I did it in a regular size tube, but put it in one of these little wooden ones that has the wooden back because I know you can't sew through that wood back, no matter how hard you try. And so this one is all fringy. So that was my first one. And then this was my second one. And I love this one. I just dearly love this one. And it will stay in the hoop just like this. My back looks nasty, but I'm teaching an in-person class next week, and so I'm going to leave it like this so they can see all the steps because there's no way we'll get start to finish. And then this is the one I'm working on right now. This is going to be my class because for those that need beads, I don't have time to set and separate all the different colors to make them a kit. So it's kind of a mixed up bead kit. And I don't know if you can see the line on there, but I've got a circle drawn so it can be it's a 2.5-inch circle. So it could be a pendant if you wanted it to be. I've also drawn a line across mine right here because I'm thinking I want to stop and cut that, fold that over so it's flat and I don't know. But this is what I want to do with the class because if they find out after they get going they really don't like it, then they don't have to fill the hoop. But if they love it, they could fill the hoop and make a wall hanging thing. So let me run real quick. You can look at my mess, and I'll get the one that I just finished. I actually finished it on vacation, and it'll take me just a sec.
Okay, I'm going to go big and show them what I'm working on and why, sort of, kind of. Okay, so I do a fair bit of bead embroidery, but I mainly do hearts. So it's a combination of old buttons, and I mean these were from my grandmother's button stash. So I use buttons and beads, and I do hearts. What I'm going to do with them, I still have no idea. Obviously, I am just kind of hoarding them. I have sold a couple, but basically I'm hoarding. So I've got these ones, and I am working on a really big, I got that silly glare again. I've got a big red one. The point is here. The lower point is here, and of course it'll go heart shaped. Again, these are vintage buttons and mainly glass beads. I do have these interesting acrylic ones that I'm going to add to this one, but normally I don't add acrylic beads, just the buttons. So, yes. Thanks, Miss Ali K. Thanks, Andrea. So, Jean and I were chatting before we started today. Am I really fuzzy? I'm sorry. We were chatting before we started today, and we're kind of thinking it's time to. Oh, my camera's. Let's get rid of that light. Will that help? Little bit. Then I've got the shadow. I have to turn the other lights on. Anyway, um, we have to finish some of the stuff that we've started. Well, I have to finish stuff that I've started because I've got 967 projects at the minimum going right now. And I'm going to make Jean big so she can show you her piece she just finished. And my word, guys, this is droolable. Droolable. Jean, you're up. Droolable, I tell you.
Hey, I might or might not embroidery today. I'm out of threaded needles,
Oh,
so
no.
it could be a while. So this is my last one that I just finished.
What size hoop is that?
Huh?
What size hoop is that?
This is a 4-inch hoop.
Okay.
So what I did with this one was totally made around this little lizard right here. He's really hard to see, and he's missing a leg. But my best friend, who passed away 2 years ago in July, gave him to me. And it was like, I just want to use him there. I mean, I found him when I was prepping for the materials. And so anyway, I decided I was going to keep it, in the turquoise and red. I don't know why. It just happened. I don't really think it out too much. But I did think enough to think I wanted to do this to the edge. So I took the inside of the hoop and drew around it. Actually, I think I drew around the inside of it, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I stitched to that line, which, well, I guess I had to because this is actually stitched around both pieces of the hoop. So I drew around the inside of the inside hoop and worked to that edge. And then I embroidered all of this. It's just, wrapped around there, stitched through. You see it on the back. This one's a little bit neater, but this one's going to have a piece of suede on the back. And then I just decided on fringe because, I don't know, this is what I wanted it to be.
Isn't that lovely, guys? I am just so in love with those. So I really want to get this heart finished, and then I want to do one that way. Ha. We'll see. I really need to get some. You call them works in progress. I call them UFOs, unfinished objects. So, yeah.
I love it. I
Me
tell you,
too.
I have a zillion craft supplies, and that's no lie. And I don't care whether I do anything except this right now. And it's crazy that I've decided bead embroidery is what I really want to work on, because I'm not going like younger in age, and the eyes aren't like getting better, you know. But still, this is what I do, and this is what makes me happy.
Happy is good. All
Yep.
right. We're going to share the screen. So, if at any time you guys have a question, like how we're doing something, please just put it in caps and we will answer you to the best of our abilities. Well, Jean will answer you to the best of her ability, and I'm just going to make stuff up as I go along. You know how that goes. So, first off, normally I have all my beading supplies together in one container. I have a big spool of proper beading thread because I do bead on leather as well. And I cannot find my beading needles, nor my big spool of thread. So I'm just going to use regular Gutermann thread, and hopefully these small needles that I pulled out will go through some of the smaller beads. Or maybe I'll just work on some bigger beads today. We'll see. Yes, we get to fall down different rabbit holes when we're here. So bead embroidery really isn't that different from, well, okay, I can't say that. It basically, you string the beads, you lay them down, and then you go back over them to tack them to the fabric. Right, Jean?
Pretty much.
Okay. She knows. So I'm going to take, this is just a, this is not one of my beading needles. They're usually much longer and they have bigger eyes.
And I'm working with such tiny beads that I have to have a tiny eye needle.
Hi, Malia. Sorry, Jean.
I said I'm working with such tiny beads that I need a small eye needle. And I literally hate them because I can't even use a needle threader.
Really?
And I'm, yeah.
Ooh, guys, I just threaded that.
And I have all kinds of needle threaders.
I just threaded
This
that.
is something I This is something I found recently. They're $1.49 at Hobby Lobby. They're called Color Eyes, and they're beading needles. I wish they came with just all number 10s, because if I can't see the hole in a 10, I sure as heck ain't going to see the hole in a 12. But they're colored. You still can't tell that. You can in the package a little bit. The 10s are black, these are blue, and these are red. And so it makes it a little bit easier, but these are all the same thing, and the black wears off after a while. And something else, when you're using a fine needle, they become harder and harder to thread because you're going in and then back up, and sometimes you have to kind of skip over a bead, and because they're thin, they curve. They're great when they're curved for stitching because they can contour to your style, but they suck for threading. It's just very, very hard to thread a bit needle, but you make do because you don't want to just keep buying needles and buying needles and buying needles.
No, because then you end up with a bazillion needles. Malia, you are welcome here anytime for any length of time, hon. You know that. You're always welcome. So, yeah, I just kind of make stuff up as I go along when it comes to this.
Thanks, Malia. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta go find the magnifying glasses.
I'll go big. So I'm using glass beads. I can't remember what these are called. I know what these are called. It's gone. My mind is gone. It's the problem with using them, though, is they're not all cut to the same length. But that, to me, adds that little bit of texture and uniqueness. Uniqueness, is that a word, guys? I don't know. I don't know. So I'm working on these little ones here right along the edge. Yeah, I'm just doing another beaded heart. This one, actually, my granddaughter did when she was 11. I had her doing them. So it just shows how long we've been doing these things. This is one of my favorites. Bright colors. I love bright colors. I have to have bright colors or I get really angry. Or depressed. Doing beiges and grays, I can't do it. I can do black and white, but just some of those neutral tones, it's not my forte. Jane, what are these long glass beads called? I know what they're called. I just can't remember.
Bugles.
Bugles. There we go. Oh, that
And
one.
that's one of the beads I totally have never liked.
Why?
It's, well, for one, in a wearable piece of jewelry, they will almost always cut the thread
Oh,
because they're just like long tubes that have been cut.
right. They're sharp at the ends, which is true. Very
Right.
true.
But for this, I absolutely love them.
Yeah, you can get some very interesting texture. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly, Andrea. Hey, Sherry, nice to see you, hon. Sherry and Barbara and I have actually set up a date to meet for coffee, guys.
Wow.
So that's very exciting. It's been how many years in the hoping?
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, okay.
And then you're coming down my way, right?
No, I am not traveling for a long time. I'm done with that silliness. Seriously. Um okay, so I put three of them on and they are to the edge, but if I put more on, they're going to be over the edge. So I'm going to try really hard to stay within the lines. Kim's coloring in the lines. Ooh.
Ooh.
Just trying to decide what kind of beads I want to throw in. Okay, so these are more orange than red. Yes, no?
I think they look more orange. But I don't know. I'm kind of going cross-eyed here trying to get this. I'm going to start saying bad words pretty soon. You're going to have to mute me or something.
Oh, I don't know. I've already gone off the wagon here. So
Urgh. I usually do this first thing in the morning.
it's difficult when you've got vision issues and stuff, right? Like, okay, that's not gonna work.
And this is a fine thread and a fine needle, and it's a fine mess it got me into.
Oh no!
Ugh.
The other thing is you need to tie knots quite frequently on the back when you're doing this, just in case a thread breaks. You don't want the whole thread unraveling on you. So if you tie knots frequently, you can't see that. If you tie knots frequently, it's going to hold it. Okay, Andrea, I get it. Did you see what she said, Jean? I love it. An afternoon
No.
with Kim and Jean swearing at beads. I would pay for that.
Well, you're just about to get it for free.
Yep.
I'll tell you. I'm about to go get one of those big eye needles, even though I don't like to do this with them
Yeah.
because it's pokey on both ends.
Yes.
And I poke myself like crazy, but oh man, it was almost there.
Yeah, we're hoping that this meetup is going to be the first of many. And eventually, what we'd like to do, or Barbara and I have talked about this. I don't know Sherry's game, um, is do a live together. I think that
Guess what?
you're not having,
I get to embroidery.
pardon?
I get to do some embroidery. I'm beginning, you guys are
Yoo-hoo!
going to have to sit here and watch me thread needles. I'm only going to thread one needle, so it's going to be a long thread. So again, the words might come out. But that's okay. Maybe I need this project just to let those words come out that sit inside of me when I get angry. I don't know. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Bella, did I know it's been
We
pretty.
just
Bella's homestead is here, Kristen. I watched her. She was planting potatoes and she was taking slips from the potato plants. I have never done that. And so I'm really curious as to how that's going to go. I guess you don't know if they took root yet or not, Kristen, or if they're starting to root.
now my brother and sister are not far from digging their potatoes up already.
I'm just still planting stuff.
Yep, we had fresh peas. We had what else did we have?
You hear me?
Of course, she picked the beets right after we left. Yeah, they put out a substantial garden this year, and it was kind of nice to see it.
Yeah,
It's on the at the farm where I grew up.
yeah.
So you said something about tying your thread.
Yep.
I don't always tie my thread, but I do put a lot of little extra tacking stitches. Mostly because when you do fringy, sticky up things, a little stitch to the side will
Yeah.
help a lot in keeping it upright. I'm really excited. I don't know if I said this. Oh, I think I did. About my upcoming in person class.
Yes.
It's going to be with all people I've beaded with before.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
I used to work at a bead store and I've taught all these people many different things. And I don't know for sure how many I'm going to have, but um, I am pretty sure I've got at least four. So I'm really excited about that.
That's excellent. I'm not doing anything.
Another little, go
I'm not.
ahead.
I'm not doing anything live this year. I'm not helping out at any of the local fairs in the kids' art tents or anything. Hmm.
I've kind of practiced on y'all on my teaching because I haven't done it in live person for a while. But this is another little tip I have is when you go to um, if you're staying in a line and you're trying to keep your shape or you're following a curve or whatever, you kind of audition your beads. Like I just put on one to see if it took me to the line, which it does. And I have done, I mean, even though I've only done a few of these, it's very repetitious. So I knew one would be good. But
Yeah.
sometimes I'm not sure if I need three beads or four beads or two beads. So you kind of you audition it because it's pretty easy to back a bead off. But there's
Yeah.
been times I've put things on and I can't get a bead to lay down correctly in there. And I just get my flat nose pliers and go in and break the bead and
Yeah.
then fix it. It's just so much easier.
It is. It is. I've done that too. Uh, okay. So this is not lying nice. Not lying nice at all. There we go. That fixed it a little bit.
One of my favorite tools that I use, and I don't actually have it here because um, it's packed in stuff from vacation that I haven't unpacked yet. Yep, I'm that far behind. And it's a long corsage pin because it's nice and sturdy, and sometimes that helps to lift that thread out of places because these needles that I'm beading with are very thin.
Right.
So that's just another little tool that's kind of handy.
Hey,
And
Dusty, nice to see you.
I
Sorry.
just tack these beads down. That's okay. And I'm just coming over here out to the side and taking a little stationary stitch because I know I'm going to cover it, and my thread blends really well. I mean, except when you look on the back and you see the mess. But anyway, so now I can just go with whatever other choice I have that I think. And I call this bead doodling
Be
because
doing.
y'all, a lot of y'all have already seen my doodles, and I love to doodle. And so that's kind of what I got going on here. That's why I put the black and white lines in. And the kits I've made for my class have the black and white separated so that they can do that too. It may not appeal to everyone, but I just love all the color with the top of black and white. And it's crazy that I'm even using sequins. I mean, I have literally called these fat glitter, plus size glitter. And here I am using them. And I even put out a request for anybody that happens to go to a garage sale and find, some glitter. Because, the old stuff is the cool stuff.
It is. It is.
One thing I have to say that was hard for me and is still hard on this piece is I have rows of multicolored beads. And on this one, everything is in the lines, basically. I mean, I make my own lines. So, of course, I'm going to stay in my lines because they're my own lines, right?
Huh.
But um, I just like the colors like that. Whereas this one, the rows of multicolor, it's difficult. It's difficult for some reason. I don't know why.
Hey, Belinda. Oh, things are still blurry. Belinda's just back for an eye doctor's appointment, so you must have got those fun drop things. We are doing bead embroidery today. I'm working on that crazy red heart, and Jean's doodling.
Yeah.
Jean is doodling. The thing with bead embroidery is, for me, it takes that little bit longer than regular embroidery because I make it up as I go along. That I'm not sure what kind of beads I want to use and which direction I want them to go in. Because changing the direction of the lie of the beads and the lines is what creates the interest.
Actually, that's so true. And that's like this one here. All those bugle beads. Part of the reason I really like the bugle beads is because it takes up space faster and you get
It
done faster.
does. That's why I
But
like
it's a whole different texture.
it is. I think that's why I like the buttons.
Yeah.
Putting buttons as well because they add definite interest.
Yeah, I've thought about buttons and I found my box with my teeny tiny buttons and I thought, ooh, that would be good. But I just, I'm trying to use this out of a specific selection of beads that I am going to make a kit for
Right.
Defy.
Okay.
And so that's what this project is. And it's funny because when I was doing this one, the turquoise one was already in my mind. This one, I don't have another plan. So I don't know what the next one's going to be. It's probably going to be more like this one, but a whole lot more sticky uppies. And I might get courageous and do some bigger sticky uppies.
I like the sticky uppies personally.
I do too. This one I've gotten a little more courageous. I've got some bigger ones and I got some sequins on top and I got some funky shaped sequins in there and I need to have one more cluster of sequins somewhere. I just haven't figured out exactly where it's going to be yet. because I never know where I'm going after I've laced some beads down. I don't know where it's going next.
Yep, that's my thing too, right? That I work on one area and then I go, oh, now what? And so then I move. Then I move. But I think I'll have this corner done. It's bright, yeah. I'm quite light sensitive with this vision junk going on with my eyes. So even on cloudy days, I wear sunglasses outside. Get a lot of strange looks, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yep. I almost prefer my sunglasses lately.
Well, I mean, I don't need long distance glasses, so it's okay for driving. Okay, now I'm notorious for not counting my beads when I work. So then a lot of times I'll just put beads on and I don't really pay as much attention as I should. And then I have to add another bead after I've kind of put the row down. You know?
Yeah, that's why I kind of audition them. And it's so much fun. Like this one I just laid down, and I already did it, so I can't. I'm sure it'll show up again. But when you got a fairly large amount, you put them on. If you pull your string through it, they dance and wiggle like a little worm.
Yes, they do.
I know it's the silly thing. It's the silly things, but
That's what gives
it's
joy
still
too.
fun.
So on
Yeah.
this one, I've noticed that some of the when I've tacked the buttons down, I should actually put some beads on top to cover up the buttonholes
Uh
because
huh.
of course, I'm using white thread. On the purple one, I used a darker thread so that the buttonholes do not show. When you stitch the buttons down, I use
Yeah.
kind of like a burgundy kind of thread for them. I tried to match the thread to the beads. This one I am using white because I don't even go there. So
Well,
I'm thinking now
this
I'll
is
just
something else.
go through.
Go
Get
ahead.
it? What'd be really cool is if I went and did French knots on top of the beads with this.
Yes. And you could do this with your buttons.
Oh,
Um, I
definitely.
I stitched beads over through the buttonholes to tack it on
Yeah,
that way.
yeah.
I really like that. That's probably one of my favorite techniques. And I have looked all over YouTube for something like I want. And when I search bead embroidery, it's all that fancy stuff where you take a cabochon and you bead the bezel, and I don't
Yeah.
want that.
No,
That's not me.
no. I hear you. I hear you. These containers aren't great for getting beads out of either. You need something more with a rounded bottom. The lady who taught me this um, prefers like a low scooped bowl. And I have big ones, but I'd like. Hey, what would probably work? These things. 'Cause, 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 But then I'd be filling it
Yeah.
up all the time, right? Well, I'm just gonna have to get one made with a little bit bigger, bit bigger. With
I bought these on Amazon and I love them because for some reason, if you could see my desk, you'd know I've been sorting beads and trying to get them where they're all accessible. And but when I do this, I want my beads separated. That's I think why this bothers me. But I bought these and I really like them for separating. But when you go to stick your needle in there, it's very easy to catch the back of this.
oh,
Even better, even more than this mat. So I've thought about different things. Kim and I talked about it one time, and I thought about trying to make this out of fun foam and stick a couple layers together. But my husband had an idea, and I haven't had a chance to do this. Is to go out. I make a lot of paper beads, and I use this thing called PC Petrifier, which is a wood hardener. Its actual purpose is when you've got some kind of rotting wood, is you put it on there, and it absorbs in and makes the wood hard again. He says, take a dropper of that and put it in here and see if it makes it hard enough to do.
that
So
would
I'm
be
going to do that and see because these fit my board good, you know.
yeah. I found that I have a really hard time with the smell of that because Ron
Well,
used it
this one doesn't.
on a couple
This
of
PC,
trainings,
uh-huh.
and it's nasty. Even now, it's years later, and I find the smell really bothers me when I'm dusting.
Hmm. I don't. I didn't notice this one to have a smell.
Okay. It didn't
Um,
help today, Belinda? Your progressive sunglasses? Sorry, doing chatting and then listening to you. Being a bad host, sorry.
what I've been using is a different brand, so maybe it's the brand. I don't know.
Yeah, this was called PET, PET, and oh my word, it was nasty. Really, really nasty. Oh, I do not like the way those beads sit in there. Ha.
What I kind of like about doing this straight from your head and not having a pattern, although I have to say I would like to draw a pattern on here and do some bead embroidery on it. I think that would be really cool. But I like how you can change your mind and change things as you go.
Yeah,
Like I originally started with these multicolored rows and then wasn't totally in love with it. And then I started just picking out the single colors and doing them like that again. But I know I'm also going to have to go in and do some more of these multicolor rows. Or it's going to look like I changed my mind. And I like that because one, you can change your mind and it still looks okay. You just pay attention to what you're doing.
right. Oh, you can get sunglasses attachments? That's interesting. I've never got that. Mind you, I always have somebody with me when I get that done.
The eye doctor I go to has a machine that does simulates the dilation.
Oh, okay.
But then again, I can literally walk across the street to go to the eye doctor, so it's pretty good
That's
for me.
nice. That's nice. Mine, of course, is in the city. My doctor, my dentist. No, my doctor is not. My dentist, my eye doctor, they're in the city. I mean, it's not too bad. But of course, they're all on the other end of the city because before we moved out here, we lived on the other side of the city. So it takes a little bit of a jaunt to get there. I think I'm going to have to redraw this heart because I think I've totally lost that outside edge, Gene. It's been so long and it's worn off.
Hi, Dana.
Hey, Dana, welcome, welcome. We are doing bead embroidery today.
And then sometimes you have a bead that won't go on your needle.
Yeah,
And considering that those are tiny already, you know where those beads go?
yep.
In the trash. Because it's already too tiny. I'm not going to come across that bead again. That's just all
And
there is
it
to it.
seems that if you do put it back, ooh, that's really high, sticky, yucky. I'm gonna have to do a bunch more. No, I don't like that. I don't like that thing. Um, what? What? Yeah,
If you
and
do
then
put it,
if you do put it back, that's the one you're going to be picking up the rest of the day.
yep, exactly. And as I've been sorting beads today and yesterday, um, if they if I've already got the container closed and those little beads decided to, that got lost in the process, yeah, there's probably a whole bracelet worth of beads in my trash can.
Oh yeah,
I just it's just not worth the effort. I mean, I could do, one of these a day if I could do one a day and
yes.
probably have 2 or 3 years worth of work at least.
Well, I know. I know. I don't have enough beads out here. I had to go get some more.
It's not that you don't have enough, you don't have the right ones.
Right. So, just a heads up, everybody. On Sunday, when we were doing the, oh my word, I can't undo this. Um, when we are doing the friend follies on Sunday, we are playing with inks. So for new and original, and well, not necessarily original, but new and fun ideas of what to do with ink, join us on Sunday. Don't know who all's coming to play, but we always have a good time.
Not sure if I'll be there or not. I have to get caught up from vacation.
Yeah, I'm pretty much caught up.
Well, I have the laundry done and everything's unpacked. It's just the shuffle of stuff I did prior to that. And then we came home the night before we headed home. We had a pretty good hailstorm here. So we've had to deal with contractors and insurance adjusters and all that. And
Yeah,
so,
never much, not much fun.
no, I'm just kind of glad our car wasn't here.
Yeah,
Because if the town got it, and the adjuster said she's been all over town, she came on Wednesday and she started, she did all day Monday and Tuesday, and she said she had a lot to do.
right.
So with that many, it would have taken forever to get my car fixed.
Oh, for sure. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with these hearts. I had kind of discussed, maybe put discussed, talked about, that word, putting them on flaps of boho purses. I don't know. Somebody else said to turn them into pins. I don't know. Open to suggestions for that also.
I have no idea what none of my stuff is going to be until it's done.
Yeah.
And people name their projects before they even got started. And the art association here had a speaker, and that's what he suggested is you should have a title for your piece before it's even started. And I'm like,
I
are
do
you
that.
kidding? I don't even know what it's going to be.
I do that all the
You know,
time.
you name it before you start it.
Yeah. I've got lots that I did that way.
I don't even know if it's going to, I can start a project. I don't know if it's going to be, a book or a dress.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I do that more so for my paintings than other stuff.
Yeah. Well, this was, intended for painters, I suppose, the instructor that we had, but yeah. I, I can't.
And then sometimes you put something down and there's a bit of a gap because you figured that the beads would snug up enough and they do not.
And that's easily fixable,
It is.
just like mine just did, and it's kind of got a bump in it, so it's just going to take a few extra stitches to tack it in. You can like put your stitch in kind of sideways and then pull it back over where you want it. And I think this is one of those things that the more you do, the more you learn these fixers.
Yeah. I am going to try and stick a totally different bead in there. Something completely different.
And sometimes I stitch over the top of a bead by mistake.
Yeah.
Just take your fingernail or that big corsage pin, whatever it is, and you just slide it back in there, tuck it in. I think this is very forgiving. Maybe that's why I really like it. I don't know.
I don't know either. I definitely have to redraw that line because I'm way off. Well, maybe.
And you said other than the outside shape, that's the only drawing you ever do?
Yeah.
Same here. I will say, as I was working on this, I thought right here, I mean, this was all empty. And I have, on my Instagram, I have progression pictures because I just like doing that. I don't know why. Did draw a spiral here, and I thought I wanted like kind of was going with a paisley, but not, just kind of that shape up here. Of course, the beads decided it wanted to be a little funky shaped, and that's okay. But I did draw those two marks on there because I knew that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I haven't done anything except the straight line on this one. And I don't know yet if I'm going to stop there. I mean, I can work it in. I hope.
I am just doing this. This is just a muslin. I didn't even do this on a canvas. Normally I do it on canvas. So I had a
That's what I'm doing. I'm using canvas. It's not the heavy duty canvas. In fact, it said it was duck canvas, and it wasn't even in the upholstery part.
okay.
And it was like under $6 a yard. So I bought a whole yard of it. So I'm set for quite a while.
Awesome.
And I like it. I think I like the texture of it a lot. I did do, and I recently found it, but I can't remember where I put it. Something I had done a long time ago um, on a patterned fabric.
Oh,
And I do need to find that before I do my class. I made it as a needle minder. It was on a covered button,
right.
and then you could set your needle on it because I put a magnet behind it. Um, like I said, I've seen it recently. I just don't remember where that recently was.
Oh, I hate those recently. I know exactly what
Yeah,
you're speaking of. I
it
really do.
happens way too frequently.
It does. It really does. Really, really does. So, Dana, your boy's glad to be done school. She had sons that graduated this year, so
Mm,
she was busy with grad parties and the fun stuff. Are you all done with your parties and everything, Dana? Are they going to continue education or are they going to go to work? Gee, I'm nosy, eh? And then when you get these really big beads, this is a very big, interesting plastic bead, and I would like to use it, but I am going to have to use smaller beads on either side as a step up for it. Because if you just do it there, the where the hole is, there's a big gap between where it's going to sit on the fabric. So I like putting a bit smaller bead on as a step, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I have recently seen my crocodile. Yeah, those things just disappear, and then you see them and you need them, and like, where did I see you? I'm actually sitting in my art room and I'm turning around looking at some of the little piles, and nothing's ringing a bell as, hey, that's where I was.
Yeah,
Because when I seen it, I thought, oh, I need to save this because I did that, oh, many years ago before I decided this was what I wanted to do for the time being. Now, mind you, I've changed my mind many times in the arts I love,
me too.
but I have always come back to beading. It's the one thing I've ever done that I've never gotten rid of all the materials. Now I have gotten rid of my metalworking stuff. I don't want to do that, but
Yeah, that's like me and my crochet. Me and my crochet. I like to always come back to my crochet for some reason. But I mean, I've been doing that since I was 9, and I think it's just a comfort thing that I can still create and still feel like I'm accomplishing something.
I haven't ever stopped crocheting. I still have all my crochet hooks. Most of what I do now is with beads,
Yeah,
but my 10-year-old granddaughter said, Grandma, can you teach me how to crochet?
awesome.
And I said, I can try. My
Well,
grandma taught me.
well, my one daughter that wanted me to teach her, or the one daughter that crochets, is a left-handed girl. She's so we kind of butted heads a fair bit when it came to learning how to crochet. Somebody else taught her, and I'm glad she likes it. My other daughter doesn't have an interest in it. Lineman, he wants to go to lineman school. That's like with hydro and running the big hydro lines and stuff. Dina, that's a good job.
my grandma was left-handed, and she was able to teach me. She
Um,
taught two people how to crochet, my dad and me.
well, I even tried using a mirror. I think it was more a case of we were just button heads. You know,
Yeah.
like my mom tried to teach me to knit. She could not teach me to knit for love nor money because I learned to crochet first and I couldn't get the knack of doing British style knitting because you hold the yarn differently. And then a German lady taught me how to knit, and I can hold the yarn the same way I do. Yeah, electric. Okay. Hubby's in
So, have you ever used a tension ring?
I just got
Or did
some.
I ask you that already?
No, no, you didn't. In fact,
Okay.
when I was in BC, my sister in law just gave me some. They're beside me here someplace. I have no idea where, but I have never used a tension ring. Have
Well,
you?
I was crocheting some tiny little stuff.
Yeah,
I took some of the 4 millimeter crystals and was making a crocheted, I don't know, necklace or something. And I just couldn't keep the tension on the thinner yarn. And so I don't know, I was thinking I would try one. I thought about making one, but that's just more supplies I have to get out for something.
yeah. No, my sister in law gave them to me, and because when she bought them, she ended up getting 10. So she gave me three, and I'll have to try it. I haven't done any crochet. I haven't really done much of anything since I've been home.
Yeah, me neither. Cleaning and organizing and doing my,
Well, we all know I don't do that.
well, I'm not so much cleaning as organizing.
Yeah, that's more what I have to do because I brought quite a bit of stuff home. Brought my mother-in-law's German cookbooks. So I'm kind of learning German through cooking, but one of
Awesome.
them is really old and the font in it is absolutely incredible. That one's probably going to get taken apart just for the fonts. We'll see. We will see.
Well, when you try out your rings, let me know. Although they're not expensive on Amazon, so I'll probably just order them.
Yeah. But if it's good for the small stuff, that would be wonderful because I'd really like to get back to use it. I've got so much doily yarn and, you know, the crochet cottons for
Hmm.
tablecloths and things. Okay, now I feel like I'm very gappy today, guys. This is not, it's not going as flat or as full, maybe, as normal. We do not have a pool. You're lucky to have a pool. I would love to have a pool, but having to deal with it and overwinter it, that's just like too much like work for me, Dana. Because you have to drain everything here, right? You can't just leave the water in it. And I've got so many stinking trees in the yard. I just kind of laugh because we have a neighbor across the street from us and they have an in ground pool. And every day he's out skimming leaves off the thing. And it's just like more work. I don't want any more. I want to play. I don't want to work. You know? Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Not that
Yes, it
I
does.
can't
Totally.
even say that because I've got a big garden this year again. But I don't consider that work. Isn't that weird? That's very weird. So I suppose it's really nice and warm where you are too, Dana. We've been chopping trees down since we got home. We've got Chinese elm or Siberian elm, whatever you want to call them. They've got those flat white seeds. Nasty. Oh, you did just do that. Do you do that, Gene, where you're supposed to be going from the bottom and you go from the top?
Yes, that's why I do keep the big eye needles around. Well, and then I just did one where I thought I went through the beads to make a sticky uppy, and I missed them all together. They all just fell off.
Really?
But if they're going to mess up, that's the best way to mess up.
Yeah. 92 there. 69 here. 69. And it's a lovely day.
Oh, Kim, I just did the same thing you did.
See, I'm catchy. I'm contagious, guys. Run! Run for the hills. You have recently seen your crocodile, Dusty? Awesome. I don't have one, so I don't have to worry about locating that sucker. You have a cage and a vacuum? Okay. Yeah, but I mean, your pool's available year round. So all those additional expenses I can understand. But here, as much as I would like it, I really am not into the extra work. And that would take an awful lot of my yard away. Mind you, it would be less to mow. But two, then we would have to put up a 6 foot fence. And that's a big expense as well. I just can't justify it. Cannot justify it. Well, that was really smart, Kim. So because I couldn't get it back the way it came, I cut the thread. Now I'm trying to thread this little wee needle with a double thread, and it's not very happy with me.
That's why I do use the big eyed needles or have them handy usually, because if I have to take the needle off the thread, I'll put the big eye needle on there because one, it's easier, and two, it usually isn't a lot of thread left, so I don't have to worry about poking myself too much. Hi, Sharon.
Hey, Sharon, nice to see ya. Well, I am having less luck threading the needle threader than I was having threading that needle. Goodness.
Well, I
Oh
wish.
my word, guys. Oh, thanks. I am just trying to get this project finished because I've been working on it for years already. It's been sitting up on the shelf. Jean, on the other hand, is a machine when it comes to doing bead embroidery. She gets
I
it.
just like it. I don't know why I like it so much. I'm getting, like I said, I'm getting older and the eyes are getting worse and the beads are getting smaller, and yet I still do it. And I'm using delicas.
Ugh.
They're so tiny. And I'm using sequins and bugle beads, all these things I've despised in my beading days.
Okay.
Oh well.
So I just unthreaded the needle. This is going to be an effort and frustration. I'm going to end up chopping these off, and I don't understand why I had no problem threading that needle. Now I can't get the needle threader even through the needle. Okay.
Needle threader won't go through mine. It'll go through the needle, but not with the thread.
No, mine does because I just did it. I just, after a while, your eyes just go, yeah, okay, you're on glue, lady. So, what do you guys have planned for the weekend? I'm going to go out and buy a Roomba.
Ooh, I would love one of those, but since our little Yorkie doesn't know how to potty right, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, with all the yard work we've been doing, and we've got a couple more trees that have to come down, um, the amount of garbage I'm tracking in, I do have to vacuum every day, which would be fine as if I wasn't doing lives and things because, you know, you guys know, I have to really limit how much I use my wrist. So I figured if I do a Roomba, then at least it's a low roar with all the bits and stuff that gets trapped in the house.
Can you do that at night while you sleep?
It would probably make me crazy. I would probably set it up in the morning before I go out to do the gardening, the watering and stuff. My sister in law has one and she sets it to run when she's out walking her dog in the morning. She walks her dog at 7 o'clock every morning. So she's got it set up for then. Well, that is not a straight line in any way, shape, or form. So anyway, I figured that that would be a benefit. I mean, Ron vacuums as well, but we're getting older and it takes a lot out of us, to do it. And we both would have other things we'd much rather do.
So, I probably shouldn't tell people this, but I'm going to because it's just really cool. We have the laminate flooring in the living room, tile in the dining room, and the only carpets are in the two bedrooms. So we also have two small dogs with long hair, and we have this tree that has fuzzy leaves. So when any leaves fall, they stick to them. And then, Gary uses a mulching mower, so there's grass out there, and they tend to drag a lot of stuff in.
Yes, they
Well, one
do.
day we were in a hurry, and I heard something. I was in another room, and I heard something, and it's become our new favorite thing. Is we use the leaf blower to clean our floors.
Hey, you know what? Leaf blowers are so great for things like
He
that.
brings it in, and I'm not very good at it because I can't make it go soft and slow where he can. But yeah, we do that. We've done it several times, and you know, especially in the kitchen because there's nothing, that it's going to get on the floor. I mean, in the living room, you might have something on the floor, the dog bed, or get a little too high with the knickknack or something. I don't know. But in the kitchen, the cabinets are all closed and it's just, there's nothing. And just blow it right out the side door.
Excellent. Hey, Marty, nice to see you. I just threaded it again, guys. You know what? The next thing I do, I'm going to tie it off and then I'm going to totally rethread. Just throw the thread away. I'm going to be bad. How you doing, Marty? Gina and I are playing Curse a Bead today.
Is that anything like whack a mole?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In my case, it's curse the thread.
Well, that's what I was cursing earlier, or the needle, or some other combination of those things.
Okay, so I need something like what? Would you? You're pretty.
Oh no, she's talking to her beads. Run, everyone, run!
Nope, don't like that one there. I don't like that one there. Oh, now that's why I have problems. There we go. I am good, thanks. I am trying to finish off this project. It's kind of going, kind of not going. I did something goofy with my needle and thread and I had to chop it off. So now I keep pulling it and unthreading my needle. So it's a little frustrating. Yeah, yeah, that's me exactly. But you knew that. Marty says, sometimes I swear I'm giving up. Sometimes I swear I'll forge on. Sometimes I just swear.
Yeah, I'm pretty much that last one.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Although I did get up from the dining room table at my in-laws, and my foot was asleep, so I stood there for a while. I thought it was already waking up, and it didn't, and it kind of twisted under me. And I actually stopped and thought not to say something bad. I was so
Ooh,
proud of myself. It
I
was a
would have said,
big deal.
I would have said all kinds of stuff because I'm just like that.
Well, I told my sister while I was visiting her, my sister-in-law, that Gary's sister-in-law was driving me crazy. And I didn't use the word driving me crazy. I used a little choice line there. And my sister in law says, okay, stop everything. Give me the details because I've never heard you use that word before. Oh.
Really? That's your sister in
Yeah.
law? Has never heard you swear? Oh my word.
Well, since her and my brother have been together, um, we've been here. So
Okay. Yeah,
we
no,
really
no,
don't spend a lot of time with each other.
no, no, I guess. Yeah, no, my in laws all know that I have a potty mouth. If Jan was here, she could attest to that, but she must be working today. Okay, so I've got a
Now
little
I
bit
have to
farther.
redraw a line too.
Got a little bit farther. Kind of got a bit of a cluster mess in here. So yeah, I said cluster mess. I behaved.
Yay!
Your mom broke her foot
Uh,
once like that? Ow.
I know someone else too that did, and I was really kind of panicked. I was like, what am I going to do? But it was just right before bed, so I was able to pretty much just go to bed, and we drove home the next day. So I was really off of it for quite a long time. And it was real sore when I got home, but it was okay.
Welcome back, Belinda. Oh, thanks. Jean's doing another of her fabulous bead embroideries. I'm just trying to finish this beaded heart that I've been working on for a couple of years. I think maybe what I'll have to do is take this stuff upstairs with me, which I normally do, or quite often I do, and then I can just sit and work on it and under
Yeah, I do this in front of the TV the most of the time.
well, I don't watch TV, but I could take this out to the greenhouse and sit in the greenhouse and play. Since there's no plants in there. Next year, guys, I am not traveling when it's this time of year because I really resent paying for bedding plants. And I
Paying
mean,
for what?
bedding plants.
Oh,
Normally, I start all my vegetables and my flowers, and because we traveled, I didn't bother starting anything because I didn't have anybody that was going to be looking after it for me.
yeah.
So I have spent a couple of $100 on bedding plants this year, and I know that's not lots compared to what some people spend, but when you're used to just paying like $60 for a bunch of seeds, it makes a big difference, you know? And because we were there later than a lot of people pick up bedding plants, they were picked over. Some of them were just brutal. They're doing okay now they're in the garden, but my word, I wouldn't even give plants like that away.
Do you plant peas?
Mm-mm. They take up too much room for what you get.
Well, I have never tasted a fresh out of the garden pea before.
Well, I have planted peas. I just haven't for the last few years.
I mean, she just came in with the pea pod and said, "Here, open this and eat the peas." And I was like, "Okay." And I've only recently started liking peas. And
Oh,
um, of course, not canned.
no.
Absolutely not
Oh, yeah,
canned.
no, never, 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 never.
And I opened it up and I was like, "They're so cute." There's these little peas hanging on there. And I was like, "Oh my god, those are just scrumptious." I think that would make an amazing addition to a salad.
Yep, I put them
But
in
the one
my.
thing they
I put fresh peas in my pasta
go
salad
ahead.
quite often.
Wow. I've never seen them before or tasted them. I also it's on 3 or 4 years ago I bought what I thought was green beans, and as I was snapping them, I realized they were black-eyed peas.
Oh,
And so I'd never really had fresh black-eyed peas either. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is a whole new world too." But they started a lot of their plants with, I mean, they did the seeds and stuff.
yeah.
And she bought stevia.
Oh,
And I don't like stevia that they add to things. I think it tastes terrible.
yeah.
And she came in with this tiny little leaf and she said, "Here, try this." And I did, and I was like, "Oh my god, that was so good." I think if I did it myself and dehydrated it and everything, I might like it, but I just couldn't believe the difference in the store bought and that. And I told Gary, I says, "I want some stevia plants." And she said where she bought them in the seeds. She bought them by seeds. And you get like 6 seeds for I don't know, $10, $15.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what you're getting, right? Like,
Yeah. And it was funny because she said they came in a seed packet like normal, but you open it up and there's a little cello bag in there, and there's like 6 seeds,
yeah,
and you can't hardly see them.
yeah. They're like,
So you just hope that you don't lose them when you're planting them.
yes. Carrot seeds are that small also. They're like dust. I put carrots in containers this year because I'm finding that my gumbo that and I've had no problem growing them in the gumbo in the past, but last year and the year before they just aren't managing to thrive. They
Hmm.
really, really are not. So I haven't had fresh carrots from my garden in probably 3 years now. You freeze them and put them in salads? Yeah. When I had the big flatbed garden, I did peas because I could run a fence along the edge of it. But in the raised
Yeah.
beds, I do not do peas.
I just wish we had the soil for a garden and the room,
Yeah.
but the soil here is caliche. It just doesn't do well at all. We did tomatoes. We had a big, huge tree in the backyard, and we cut the tree down because it had to come down or before it fell down. And that was a whole nightmare experience anyway. But um, Gary chopped out as much of the trunk as possible and burned out a lot of it. And in the area where the trunk was still a little bit raised.
Right.
And so he dug it all out, filled that inside with dirt and soil and bought as Gary calls it, store bought dirt. And we
Yeah.
put 2 tomato plants in there. Those puppies grew as tall as me
Yeah.
and had huge tomatoes. In fact, we were having tomatoes before the 1st of June.
Nice.
And that's the only year we've grown good tomatoes. They just don't want to grow here.
Well, I just put my tomato plants in, so I'm not going to get anything for a couple of months yet. Same with my peppers. Green beans, I'll be able to pick in about a month. But
I love fresh green beans. There's nothing in the world better than fresh green beans.
there is not. So I'm hoping that I get carrots this year. I've got celery. I've got beets. Just have to wait for this stuff to be ready. We have had some asparagus already because it is a perennial. Got a
Yeah,
nice.
we've had asparagus. I find asparagus is a little difficult for me to eat, though. It's just a little bit too chewy.
What, asparagus?
Yeah, because I don't have any teeth to chew in the back,
Right.
so it's a little hard to chew. I'm still getting used to it. I'm gums aren't like calloused and ready to be, you know,
Yeah.
do what they need to do. But Gary cooked some last night in the house instead of on the grill, and I was like, wow, I can eat this so much better.
Yeah.
So that wasn't too bad.
That's good. Dana watches a Canadian farmer. Her name is Sandy Brock. She has sheep and her husband does soybeans, etc. Soybeans is a nice crop. I mean, we live in town. We don't farm. Like I can't have chickens or anything, which I would love to have a few chickens so that I had free range chicken for my freezer. There's nothing better. But so many people here now, even though they do free range, they're considered organic. So they get licensed and they sell them for a chunk of change. I used to get them for $2 a pound from one lady, but now she's licensed and she can't sell to people like me anymore, or to any public. They all have to be through the cooperative or whatever. An ATC, Sherry. I'd love an ATC.
Well, my brother and his wife have chickens too, and we um, took 3 dozen farm fresh eggs. And my in laws have, I think they can have 6 chickens in city limits, so they
Nice.
do get a few eggs. And she just about freaked out that I brought eggs and set them on the table and said, don't put them in the refrigerator. They've never been cleaned. As long as you don't clean them, they can sit out until you use them.
Yeah,
And one of the dozen was supposed to come back home with us. And she just decided to put them all in the refrigerator. So we didn't get to bring them home because we didn't have a way to keep them cool. But
yeah.
um, I just couldn't believe how good they were.
Oh,
Made
I
the
know.
best deviled eggs.
I know. The problem, though, is with fresh eggs, they're hard to peel if you're hard boiling them for deviled eggs and stuff. I
Well, she
have,
said they were easy.
I have a devil of a time peeling. Seriously.
Huh.
I definitely turn the air blue when I try and peel fresh eggs.
Hmm.
But yeah, quite a few people out here that uh, farm fresh eggs are totally different than. But I mean, they've got them refrigerated usually, so
Yeah. Well, back in the day, they never did refrigerate eggs.
no. And I think in Britain they never refrigerate eggs either.
Yeah.
I think. Dana, are you ignoring Marty? Marty's asking you. You're big. You're much bigger. Well, where did I get that one from then? Oh, Kim, you're at it again. Okay, I took a bead from someplace and I took three of them. Oh, this jar. Never mind. I'm okay. I figured it out. It's comedy hour here, guys. Dana's probably busy working on something. Dana's always doing something.
Normally, when I'm doing this, I even skip across the fabric with my needle and thread in the back because I know I'm going to eventually, get it tacked down and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm almost done with this and I didn't want to thread another needle. So this time I cut it so I'd make sure I had enough.
Awesome. Very cool. You know, I guess this is the problem with buying cheap beads because I do. I buy a lot of dollar store beads for this kind of thing. So they're not uniform. Like if I bought check beads
Yeah.
or whatever, they would be uniform. So I end up with some of this mucky stuff. I don't know how well you can see it. This.
Make yourself big and show us.
Let's try. We'll try that. That might work better. Guess what? Can't find my cursor. Hang on, guys. Looking, looking. Where the heck? There. I see it. I see it. Oh, oh, got it. Okay. So this row here, it looks like it's got gaps, but it's because the beads are not uniform in size. So they don't have a tendency to sit very nice. But my
But you know
thought,
what? I think when you put something around them,
it does disguise a bit, but I mean, if somebody's looking really closely at it, they're going to notice it. But I can't. Well, I guess if I was selling them, somebody might fine tooth comb look at it. I see the uglies. Oops. I took me right off.
mine aren't all consistent and uniform. And some places I've put little seed, like this row right here's got uh, two different shapes, and then a round, and then a little crystal, and there's a tiny bugle, and all different sizes and shapes. But it's okay. If I was striving for perfection, I'd do something different.
That's right. And I mean, that's just it, right? Because I'm going for texture, different texture. It's all about the texture. It is. Ladies, do any of you guys do bead embroidery? I would love to see it. Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with we're working up close and personal with it, Marty. And especially on this kind of a project, um, because there's not really a pattern and the beads are so different in sizes that you're going to get that odd, odd stuff.
Well, this is crazy. I should go buy a lottery ticket.
Why?
because I'm sewing on a square sequin that has 4 corner holes. And of the 4 corners, I've actually got 3 of them from the bottom in the right hole
Oh,
to start with.
excellent.
I mean, that's just, I know it's like a miracle.
That is awesome. Oh, it's nice that he's enjoying a nice, relaxing day off, Dana. Dana's husband's having drinks in the pool.
That's always good to have a real day off that you can enjoy. Yeah, I don't love it, but I'm not changing it. So,
Isn't it funny? Hey, Cal, welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. I hope you're having a good day, hun. The other thing is,
I'm not sure how much more of this I can do.
when you're putting the needle out, pulling it to the top to string the beads on, it's hard to decipher where you're going to put it and what beads you're going to use because I put some beads on there and there was a big gap because I hadn't put it close enough to the sequin, if that makes sense.
Uh huh.
So a lot of this is trial and error.
Yep. And I think that's what makes them cool and unique.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we could draw a pattern on there and follow the lines.
I don't draw.
Oh, you do. I don't know why you think you don't.
I don't. I 90% of my stuff is winged. I wing it. Wing it. You guys know. I fake
So
it.
that doesn't mean you can't draw. I've got
Well,
artwork of yours you've drawn on.
yeah.
I think your drawing's better than mine.
I don't know. I
I
don't
do.
know about that. You know, I tried it and it looked like it didn't fit yet. Put it down and you need that one more bead that you have taken off 3 times. Don't do as I do, guys. This is not a learning video. This is just we're visiting and like I say, Gina and I are having a smart the beads day. Oh, that's lovely. That just went in nice and smooth. Okay, I'm happy now.
Excuse
Jane, can
me.
I make you big? Can you show yours off? Yes, you
Okay.
can. Look, I even know where the cursor is. Ah, oh, that's looking lovely, lovely.
So I'm almost done. I have this little bit right here and then right here, maybe 2 rows. I'm not sure. I'm gonna um I'm gonna make it that shape, kind of a circle, but the top cut off. I think. I don't know. Going back and filling it in as a full circle would be good too, but I already know kind of what it's going to be. Is I'm going to make a pendant coming up with the strings coming up this way. Maybe I'll macrame something on there. So, yep, almost done. And I think I might have just enough thread to finish this puppy. Really sparkles. There's crystals, there's beads, there's sequins. Normally I'm not big on shiny, but I like the shiny. My turquoise-ish one isn't shiny, and I like it too. So it's got a little shine. But it's just so much fun finding some beads like this little bead right here. This is a bead they don't even make anymore. And once I found them, I had to search to find some more. But I just love them. They're a check bead, and I don't remember what they're called, but I did find a few, not in fun colors, but I've thought about that, and I have done the bead bezeling before. I would need to refresh myself on, the stitch. I think that most of the time you peyote the stitch, but I'm not sure. But I do have several books on that of all the beading wire work, jewelry books. That's what I've kept is the little bead ones. And I've kind of got the urge to do some tubular peyote or herringbone or something like that. I don't know. I'm just loving the little beads. I don't understand why, because right now my eyes are saying 5 more minutes of this and I'm going to be bleeding. But yeah, not really, but it feels that way. So now I'm just going to figure out what to put in these little holes and be done.
Nice. I'm nowhere near done. I am. I'm closer than I was when we started today. So I have to, appreciate that. But I am nowhere near done this heart. Oh no.
I have one girl in my live class this coming week that she's the one who started it. She's the one who asked for it. She's the one who found the other friend that would let us do it at her house. And she is such a pattern person. I don't know if she's going to be able to do this or not, but we're going to try.
Oh yeah, patterns. See, I like patterns. I've been accused of using patterns an awful lot in my works, but I don't feel that I'm a pattern person. Like, what do you guys think? Do I follow patterns?
I don't think you follow patterns. I think you make your patterns.
Okay.
And doodling is technically patterns.
It is. It is.
I mean, you make this texture, this pattern, and you might repeat it, or you might make another one that goes right along with it. It's just, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't, when it comes to beading, I don't do a pattern. I don't make jewelry with a pattern. I never have. And I can't even wear jewelry that's patterned.
See,
Like I made myself a necklace to go with a certain shirt. It was turquoise and lime green. And at the time I could only find a few beads or two, basically two beads. And it was big bead, little bead, lime green, turquoise, lime green, turquoise. And I just was like pulling at it the whole time I wore it. I came home, cut it apart, and didn't have a necklace to go with that shirt.
Yeah.
So,
See,
oh, this is,
earrings, my earrings have patterns. A lot of my earrings have patterns.
yeah, this is laying here on the table. I done this a long time ago. I'm not 100% sure what stitch it is. Um, it's either herringbone or peyote, but I pulled it out of the drawer and one of the threads was broke, so I had to do some repair, and I haven't put it back yet. I don't wear it, but I still like it. This is, in my opinion, this is a lot of detail for a bracelet that get. I wear my jewelry hard, so
See, I've done some wrap bracelets. Maybe we could do wrap bracelets one week, Jean.
yeah.
Um, I've done some wrap bracelets, and yeah, they've had patterns. Some of them. Some of them I've done in, a 3 inch piece of this, 3 inch like that, that kind of thing. But mine always end up way too big. So I really need some feedback and ideas on how to do some wrap bracelets. Would you guys like to play wrap bracelets one day? Oh, Sherry's saying that she would like to have a starter kit, but she needs a pattern to get her started.
My suggestion for that is to find some design. Um, pull out a color book.
Yeah, a coloring book, and
Um,
then fill it in.
just or Sherry, you doodle. Draw a doodle on your canvas. Keep it small. Start small. Like I'm gonna do this for my class, where I'm gonna start them on a circle this size, 2.5 inches. If they decide they really love it, it will be super easy to incorporate the stitches around this and not look like you started with a circle. And you know, after you've done even half of this or a quarter of this, you're gonna know whether you like it. And if you do, then you won't have that distinct line, or think you'll have that distinct line, because you can go ahead and just go. And see, that's just it, Kel. I don't know if I can do a freeform pattern. I don't know how to take the freeform concept into a pattern concept. But you know, I did when I worked at the bead store, and I've been accused of being a bead snob. So you know, I've taught for many years, and I've made some very ornate stuff. Um, I designed for several people um, constantly. I mean, more than you would think one person would need jewelry, but I did. And we decided to do an all day workshop on a Saturday at the bead store, and the owner of the bead store did the color part, because to me teaching color is next to impossible. I I do color and I can make colors work together, and I've been told many times that I can make colors do weird things. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how to teach it, because it's just something I do. But I did the part on how to do a random necklace when you can only follow a pattern. And I come up with a cool little technique that works for that. And um, one of the ladies that's going to take this class, she actually did it, and she couldn't believe that she had a random necklace, and that she made it herself. So, you know, it's what you're used to, I think. I mean, I know, random isn't for everybody, and I know that. But pattern isn't for everybody, and I know that too. So you got to work with what you can do, and I think that there's a way to ease yourself into it. Like Kel says, she followed a freeform pattern and that was fun. So that's one way to go. Or, even if you just took and drew a simple little flower on your canvas and just filled the petals. Your first petal could be, outline it in one color and outline it in another, the next one in another color, and then go in and I think what you can do with a simple pattern and freeform is you change your beads, and get your texture and things, and it might help you fall into place. I don't know. I'd love to have you all at my house and play, and I could share what I do and you could see it up close and personal. But it's a long drive for most of you. But when it comes to beading, I think that's always been my biggest true love. It's just the one thing that I've never stopped doing. And I have stopped a lot of other things. But I'm hoping maybe soon I can do um, a class, a live, a lot, not um, live in, well, I have a live in person, but a live like Zoom class or something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, beads, buttons, and sequins. That's what we're playing.
And I still chuckle. I can sit here and see these sequins and I chuckle that I'm really using these sequins in my artwork. I don't know why that's funny to me, but it is.
It's because you
I
don't like sequins.
I can tell I've talked a lot. I'm getting a sore throat.
Oh no,
I go
no.
all day home by myself, and not talk to anybody.
Yeah, of course I'm doing a heart, Kel, and I know how much you aren't a big fan of hearts, but it's what I'm doing.
I'm
It
not
is.
sure,
It is
Kel, if
starting
I've ever
to.
done netting or not.
Pardon?
I've actually enjoyed this so much. I've went out and or went hunting through the house looking for my bead loom. Evidently, I did get rid of that one.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I have an old one, probably from the '60s.
I have one that's made out of wood. It was made by a friend in Ellenwood, Kansas, when we lived there. Um, Something I really enjoyed, but like I said, I don't know where it's at. I'm, I think I know where it's at. It's
Yeah,
not here, and I think that I probably gave it to my friend Terry to use, and now that she's gone, I'll probably never get it back. So,
yeah.
but I don't think it's something I want to buy.
No,
I just want to make one, and I can use one of my little looms. So,
Oy.
to me, picking this back up from many years ago, it actually just it's just an experiment to me. I mean, it's just I don't know, it's just fun. I don't I don't know if there's proper stitches to do
oh,
or
that's
what.
your granddaughter.
No,
No,
it's not.
oh, okay.
Not today. I've talked to her pretty much every day this week though.
Right, decorative heart. What kind of needle? This is, I don't even know. I have a Tic Tac container full of needles. It's here someplace. And so I dumped it out and tried them to see if they would go through my beads. And it did, but it's a very, very small, short needle. How big are you? It's about, it's less than an inch and a half long, Sherry, this needle. But I do have proper beading needles, like the long beading needles. But I don't
What I'm using
like
are
using on this work.
I'm using bead. They're called beading needles. Um, I get them at Hobby Lobby. They're called Colorized. They're by Beadsmith, but there's others out there, and these are size 10, 11, and 12, and they're very thin and fine. But if you're not using tiny beads, most definitely use a bigger needle. You want to use a needle. You don't want to use like a big darning needle, even if it worked, because you might need that flexibility of a thinner, excuse me, of a thinner needle. Because sometimes when you're like right now, I'm filling in this little spot. And when I go down in here and I come out, I'm going to have to kind of flex up to avoid this. So just use the biggest needle you can, yet the smallest needle you can. I know that sounds completely
Confusing,
confusing, but
but it's the truth.
yeah, it really is. It's hard to explain otherwise, but basically the whole thing is make sure it can go through the hole of the needle, or the needle can go through the hole of the bead, and
Yeah.
sometimes more than one time.
Yes, because sometimes you want to, like when you've got a row of beads and it's not lying quite nice, I go back through it a couple of times to pull it tight to make it line up nice.
Yes.
So if you can only get the needle and thread through once and it doesn't line up, then you're kind of stuck with it.
In a perfect world, we would have nice big eyes on nice thin needles.
Oh, they would. It really would.
But I have all kinds of sizes of needles, but my beading needles are all separated from everything else.
Well, like I say, I have my proper beading thread and my needles, and I can't find them. So that's just telling me that I really need to get off my hiney and do something with this area.
Yes, I have this little stash of sequins. It's kind of like Kim's big bag, but mine's not nearly as big. And there's some crazy funky shapes in there that I've never seen before. Every once in a while, I'll find something that doesn't have a hole, and I tried putting holes in them, and that doesn't work. I do want to try some of these that are like this one, where the hole, I don't even know if you can see that, but the hole is at the top instead of in the center. I want to do that, kind of do some scaly looking things. And I love this one, but this one needs to be on a colored
Can I make you big?
fabric because I
Let me
don't
make
like
you big.
seeing
Okay, you
the
can
white
start.
behind it.
I've made you big
This
now.
one, I started to put it on here, and you can see the white behind it, and I didn't like that because I'm trying to fill it in. So I was actually contemplating watercoloring in on my canvas, and then stitching, and maybe working so I can get, because this is so pretty. It's so sparkly, and it's a flower, and yeah. But I've used some weird ones over here
You know,
in the little clusters.
what could also work is if you put that down and then go from the back and use like a watercolor marker or something.
Yeah,
That could work to cover up that white bits too.
yeah, that would work definitely.
Hmm. I need to go just a smidge more.
I'm also finding that with this one, because I've got the multicolored beads here, that I'm really enjoying like color blocking.
Yeah.
To this one, to this one, to this one. And that's been really fun to do too.
Well, that's kind of what I do with these, even though I'm doing them all one color. Um, I do two or three at least of the same, unless they're really big, if that makes sense.
Hmm. I hope you guys have picked up any kind of tip, or at least enjoyed. I don't know how well I could stand watching somebody sew beads on fabric.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping that I could kind of demonstrate the way I do it. So maybe that's what I'll do right away is I will show you how I would put a row of beads down. I'll go big and I'll just do it to the side or in an area that I haven't even touched yet so that you can see what I talk about when I say I do a row of beads.
I think that's part of why it's not as easy to see, is because we're tucking in places we've already been.
Right. You're crafting and listening? Awesome.
That's what we want to hear. Even if you're not listening, that's okay too.
Yeah, we're just background noise.
Yep.
Background noise is good. All right. So I'm going to go. I'm going to put myself on screen and go big, Gene.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a row of just small beads down along this side of the heart. And I know my thread's nowhere near it. So I'm just,
You're not on screen.
yeah, I know. I was just
Okay.
because, so you put your thread up to the right side. Okay. The thread comes through to the, I wonder, is this like going to help? I don't know. I don't know.
With all those darker reds in there and the bigger beads, it looks like a real heart.
Yeah, it's just brutal. Okay, so I've got my thread coming out the right side. Normally I would have a knot at the back or I'll be working right next to something else I'm doing. So then I will decide what kind of beads I want to use. Let's just use a bigger bead so you can see what I'm talking about. I'll use some of these. So those are a larger seed bead. I don't know what. They're not a 6 maybe.
Probably.
So they're a larger bead. And I'm going to put 5 of them. I'm just going to string 5. And you can see that they are not the same shape, size, whatever. That's why I don't get nice, neat lines. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I've got 5. Whoop. 4. 5. 5 threaded. Now you're going to decide what direction you want them to go. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it, no, I'm just going to do it straight up so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I've got the 5 beads in a row. I'm going to go down quite close, but not right beside the end bead. And that's going to help it lie flat because the beads they're thick, so it needs a little bit of play, right? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up beside the beads. Can you see where my needle is? I'm about 2 beads down from where I went underneath, where I put through. Can you guys see that? I'm going to stand up so I can see better too. See where my needle is? There's 1, 2 beads, and then I pulled the needle up. Then I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to go across the thread that I originally threaded it onto the, and that's considered a tack stitch. And you want it to go between those 2 beads, and it just helps tack it down. Does that make sense? Now I'm going to do that again. I'm going to come up. So I've got 2 beads on that end, and I'm going to go across and down and tack these beads. Okay, so it looks pretty good. It looks pretty straight, but what I'm going to do, because this end one here has a little bit of a wobble to it, I'm going to come up a little bit away from the row of beads. It's like a needle's distance away from the end of the bead. I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to run it through the entire row again to make it straight. Then I'm going to go down again about a needle's length away. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to tie a knot tight against the fabric. Just so that if that thread breaks, those are the only beads you're going to use. Can you see it better, Sharon? Can you see it better? Or do I have to be like this close to the camera? Am I still alive?
Yeah.
Sharon, would you like me to repeat that? So then I will, for the next row of beads, I will come again, not right beside the beads. See, there's a bit of a gap. No, you don't need to see it again? Okay. Anyway, so then I would do the next row of beads about that distance away. That gives, because remember when you've got the beads, the hole is in the center, so you need to have a bit of a space. You can't have them right on top of each other. Did that make sense, guys? Oh, I'm fuzzy. Did that make sense? Jean?
Yeah, it did. I did mine a little bit different, but not much.
Okay. I'm fuzzy. It's not going sharp. It's this stupid light.
You're not too bad.
There we go. I There we go. Ah, thanks, Belinda. I really
Well, I
wish
finished
now
mine.
you finished yours. I really wish I would have
Yep.
done this on canvas instead of muslin. I just didn't find my canvas. Okay, let's see yours, Jean. Oh, that's lovely.
So what I did, because I kept my cardboard already, and but I drew the line on here to cut it off, but didn't cut this. So
Right.
what I did is I took this paper one, and with my light, I could see through it, and I just put it where it was lined up everywhere, and then just folded it down. So I have the pattern
Perfect.
right here for this. And what I'm going to do is get the cardboard and put it behind it with a little bit of padding and pull it around tight and gather it, just like I've done with these. I do a gathering stitch, and then once that's all pulled in tight, I do this to kind of just make sure everything stays. And
Do you glue it, Jean, or just stitch it?
I will stitch it till it's good on here, and then I will put a backing on it of some sort.
Okay.
I hope to maybe do a little bit of edge beading on it if I need to, smooth up the edges,
Right.
to make it look good. I don't know yet. Um, I'm not going to take it off and do that right now because I want to be able to. I don't have time to make another sample
Right.
before my class. So, but I think it'll be okay. I think it'll turn out pretty cool. I'm thinking, um, for the edges here for the necklace part, I'm thinking I might do just a crocheted with beads, little beads on it, because that won't take me very long at all.
That'll be very pretty.
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I think it would look good with fringe on it too. So
Yes, yes.
I
Everything's
don't know.
nice with fringe. I love fringe. I love
Yeah,
dangly things. I love dangly things.
yeah. The fringe was more troublesome than I remember fringe being, but it's been a long time. So once I got through it, it wasn't too bad.
Hmm.
But I do like it. I'm ready to start a new one now.
All right. All right. I'm not starting a new one because I haven't finished this one.
Ugh.
I think
And
all
that,
in all, I think I did another one approximately this size, and it took me 11 hours.
oh
Does that
wow,
sound about right?
yeah, I would say so. I mean, because I can do. Um, I would say this took me 2 weeks, but not working solid at it.
Yeah.
And the turquoise didn't take that long at all. It
Yeah.
was quite a bit less.
Well, I mean, the more buttons you put on and the bigger beads you use, the less
Right.
time it's going to take, right? But I use a lot of seed beads, like the small seed beads, the 11s and the 12s, 10s, 11s,
I
12s.
do. I do. I do find that one thing kind of like all art that I've ever done, I still kind of use the rule of three or five.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
you know, like this, I had this pink bugle bead, and I made sure I put it in 3 places. Now this one is the Tila beads, and I just put them in there. They're not somewhere else. They stand out to me. So does this yellow, but I have yellow and little bits of yellow, so it's okay. And the pink, it's kind of mixed in there. So, but I try to do, if it's something big and focal, I want it 3 times
Right,
or 5 times. So,
right.
and I have that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, some of my clusters and stuff. Just keep balancing it till it looks good.
Yeah, that's kind of, well, I always start with the buttons. I put the buttons down and I like to do 3 or 5 buttons as a rule. So I do the buttons, but now I've got these big, and again, these are acrylic, but I figured, you know what?
You're not on screen.
I'm not on screen. I'm not on screen, guys. Surprise! Okay, I do 3 or 5 buttons, and that's where I start. And then I've got these big red acrylic beads now. I brought back my mother in law's costume jewelry and I took it apart. So I am going to put 3 of these on, although I put one in the center and probably one here and one up there. We'll see. Um, but yeah, and then I just kind of fill it in with whatever my heart desires at the time. I look to see that I'm not getting too many of the same close to each other. I can't say that
Yeah.
because I do blocks of like seed beads, block of seed beads, but there's really no
The
rhyme or
seed beads
reason.
are your seed beads are kind of your glue that keeps it all together. The other beads, I mean, the other beads are the ones you want to stand out. So,
Right, right. The seed beads are there for texture. Like I'll do 3 rows or 5 rows or 4 rows, or I'll do rows
uh-huh.
of the same size beads, a row of each kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely it's something to play with, guys. It's definitely something you need to take and make it your own.
Absolutely. All we can do is show you what we do. We hope that you um, experiment and play with it yourself
Right.
because it can be crazy fun. I mean, it just is.
It is crazy fun.
I think it's addictive. I think once I start, it's like that's all I think about. Okay, I want to go in there and do some more beading. I want to go do some more beading.
Oh, exactly. Like once I start working on it, now I'll probably finish this, between this evening and tomorrow, unless I get really sidetracked. I do have to go to the city right away, but um, normally, if I put it away, then I don't get back to it for months.
Yeah,
But once I'm doing it, it's like, yeah, I really enjoy this because this is not hard on one's wrist, you know? Well, I don't find it hard on
yeah.
my wrist. What about you, Jean? Does it bother you to,
Uh-uh. The hardest part of the whole thing is threading the darn needle.
right,
That
right.
is the hardest part, which is kind of sad
Yeah,
because that's not something you can get by without. You have to have that part.
you do.
I
You
mean, I could
definitely
use
do.
bigger beads, but we won't talk about how many beads I have bought recently. It's not
Yeah,
even.
I don't normally buy beads either because I have so many.
Well, I have a lot of stones. I have trays and trays and trays of stones.
Well, I do too. I admit that. That's definitely something I do have. I
That's part of
also,
the reason I did the turquoise is so that I'd get the opportunity to use up something besides just the little beads.
yeah, I understand that. I've got a lot of turquoise as well. It's in the back 40, along with the rest of my beads. I have shoe boxes full of beads, guys. Many of them are acrylic because I do the beaded curtains, and I'm not going to use all glass beads for those. It's just not feasible and too darn heavy.
Yep. I just went through some beads for some kits for Defy, and um, I had separated them out. Thought they were awfully pretty. Thought they looked a lot like check glass beads, and they
Yeah,
were acrylic, and I was really impressed with them.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's nice. You're gonna make fish? Ugh. I made a fish beaded curtain for my bathroom down here. I couldn't get the fish to look decent for love nor money. Of course, now that I've looked at it and I've done a couple that actually worked nice, I would like to take it apart and do it again. But do I really want to take something apart and fix it? Or do I just want to keep playing and doing other stuff?
Yep.
You know? Okay, sharing the screen, Jean. But I mean, I've
I
got
don't
enough
have any
beads
here.
that I have lots of beads. Lots of beads. And even if they are the acrylics and you get the kids' kits and whatever, because I was making the beaded curtains, I don't mind having a lot of those on hand.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't mind putting them in the tassels for the junk journals either, because they're not as heavy as the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, the glass is gorgeous, but everything costs money, right? Even if I get it at a dollar store or a thrift store or whatever, it's still costing money. And when you add that all up, you don't get nearly what it's worth, right?
Right.
So I'm starting to be a little bit of a hag. I can't just keep giving stuff, you know. Although I do. I'd say that now, but we all know. We all know. But I have no idea what I'm doing with this stack of hearts in the box beside me. No clue. But that's okay.
And the crazy thing is, I just love sorting all this stuff too.
You like sorting beads? Oh, my
No,
girlfriend.
I don't. I don't mind the beads. I'd love to have somebody sort this bag of sequins, but I don't think I could even pay my grandkids enough to do that.
Yeah,
So I just dumped a few and picked the smaller ones out and called that good for now. I did try to convince my granddaughter. They're headed to Disney tomorrow, I guess. And I said, when you get home, I want you to come over and stay with me for a few days. I need you to help me go through my stuff and get rid of some stuff. And she says, Grandma, I can't take anything else home. Mama will just have my hide. And I said, I know. I don't want you to take anything home. But you have three things you have to ask me or say to me. And she says, okay, what's that? And I said, you're supposed to ask me if I've used it lately. And then you're supposed to ask me, have I used it in the last year? And then you're supposed to say, well, it needs to be out of here, Grandma. And she
oh,
just laughed. She says, I can do that. And then she got all bossy and she says, okay, Grandma, do you have boxes? And I said, yes, I have boxes. Do you have big boxes? I said, yes, I have big and little boxes. Okay. Well, and then she started telling me how we were going to do it. It was so funny.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
The one I really need is my grandson, but getting him over here to do that for very long would be a miracle.
Yeah,
He would expect to be paid.
yeah. My kids
He's a
now
boy
all
like that.
expect to be paid too because they're all teenagers, right?
Yep. Yep.
But that's okay.
Well, Kim, I think I'm about done.
Yeah, it's been 2.5 hours, and As I say, I do need to head to the city. I have some stuff I got to get done. So I guess we shall call it a day. Thank you guys all for watching us, and I hope that we've inspired you to try something a little bit different, something other than paper crafts.
Ooh, I have this sitting here
Uh oh.
when I'm done cleaning. I have this snippet roll that I've got things stitched on and I've got things pinned on so that I can, you know, finish it out. When I was looking at this part right here and I'm like, ooh, I could fill these places in with beads.
Oh, Jean, you could.
Yeah, well, the lucky part is I don't really have pastel beads, so I guess I probably won't get to do that.
Yeah, I don't think I've got pastel beads either, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's not. If I do, they're probably acrylics. So, yes. So, again, guys, thank you guys, everybody, for watching. Those who are in the balcony, those who are playing along, hopefully, even if you're doing something different, those who are going to watch the replay. I hope that, like I say, I've inspired you, Jean's inspired you. Just get them out and play and see how you feel. The nice thing about it is you can cut them all off and start again, right? Or if you're really in dislike with it, you can always, throw it out. It's up to you guys.
If anybody tries it and has questions, I'll do the best I can to answer them if you send me a message.
Yeah. Or, we can always do the one on one like I've done with the crocheting and
Yep.
stuff in the past. Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely, definitely. All right. So thanks again, everybody. Thank you very much, Jean, for coming and playing and sharing your beautiful works and your wisdom. And I hope that you guys have some ideas. Just even adding a little bit of beading to a cluster. Anything, it's
Oh, that's a
all.
good idea.
Oh, Jean, I used to take like little strips of fabric and sew on a sequin and a bead or just a couple of beads and do like little dangly things to tuck into a cluster so it kind of flaps.
Yep.
Maybe we'll do that one day. Anyway, thanks, guys. Hugs to you
Thanks,
all.
everybody.
Hope to see you Sunday when we are playing with ink.
Have a great weekend.
Yep. Great weekend, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye now.
Bye.